Let's start with Phillip Rivers. What went through your head when you heard Phillip got the call from the Colts and he said sure, and he's going through this? What's going through your mind about this one, Kurt?
I mean, I think what's going through everybody else's mind. I mean, it's crazy. I will take you back. I remember I was a few years out of the league when the Cardinals had some struggles at quarterback, and they never ended up calling me, but there was just speculation, people talking about, hey, they should call Kurt. And I remember running out in the backyard and start throwing the football a little bit and taking some drops and like, okay, if they do call, could I do this? Could I come back and play? And the biggest thing was I'm not as worried, from a physical standpoint in terms of throwing the football. Like that's something that, when you know how to do it, you don't really lose it. I know Phillip's been around football, obviously coaching and stuff the last few years. So I'm not as worried about him being able to throw a football. My biggest concern, and I really had two of them. The first one was just the mental speed of the game, not being around it, not being in it, and thinking that after a couple years out, I could actually step back onto a football field and play anywhere close and process anywhere close to what I was doing when I was playing, after having not done that and been in that kind of setting for a while. And so that was the first thing that I was thinking. And then the second thing I was thinking was, man, the one thing I wouldn't want to do is come back and then have something, dumb, like, I pull my hamstring, trying to move out of the pocket because I'm an old guy trying to play. And then it just becomes this, kind of wasted, whole scenario that plays out. And so those were a couple of the thoughts that went through my mind. There are obviously some things that I'm thinking about with Phillip here, is that, I think he'll be fine throwing the football. But, when you put yourself out there with these athletes, that are playing and the speed of the game, if you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to succeed mentally and seeing it and processing it, it concerns me a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm going to be watching on Sunday. If he actually gets in there and plays or starts in this game, going to be a huge challenge. And I think like most people, I just want to see it go fairly well or average or some good things out there. I just don't want to see this as a kind of a crash and burn situation.
Yeah, he's in Seattle where the defense is there, Kurt, over the last month have been wrapping the game up by the second quarter. Like they've given Sam Darnold a couple of afternoons or evenings off in the second half. And that's the question about, neck up, no questions about Phillip Rivers. And as you said, arm strength, ability to throw the football, not so much. It's all the other stuff and timing, I would imagine, as well, right? That said, though, do you really think it could go well for him to step off of, an airplane for after sitting around, or obviously coaching is another thing, and playing the Seattle Seahawks, Kurt, who could be one of the best team in the NFL at the end of the day?
I think
I feel stupid asking somebody who's Mr. Magic Carpet Ride, can it happen? You know what I mean? Like you are the embodiment of anything can happen.
But I think there's two sides of it. That I respect Phillip Rivers and who he is as a player, and this whole thing enough to not just go into it and say, oh, there's no chance he's going to have any success, because a great player and putting himself out there like this, I respect him too much for that. But I also respect the game a lot as well, and what goes into playing this position at this level. With the athletes that are on the other side of the field and all the different nuances that go into playing the position, I respect that so much too, that I don't know how a guy comes off the couch after 5 years of not being a part of it and not being in it and not doing it, and having success or a high level of success in such a short period of time. And so, I fall on both sides. That I really don't know. I do think it's going to be really, really difficult and a huge challenge, and not something that I'm expecting him to come out and have great success. But I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping that this is an unbelievable story, and I hope that he can come back and do some really good things for this team and maybe give them a little bit of hope down the stretch.
Did I really just ask the "can this be possible" question to a man who's got a Sports Illustrated cover of "Who Is This Guy" from his magic carpet ride and his bust replica behind him? Like, I just did that.
You got to get those centered.
What is my problem there?
A lot of people probably thought I was sitting on a couch until I showed up in '99 with the Rams, but I was playing a lot of football, even when nobody knew I was playing football. So it was not like I was just coming out of nowhere, having not played football and just showed up and jumped on the scene in the NFL. I'm fascinated to see, like everybody else, how this is going to play out.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.